VSiN, the sports betting network.
Follow the money. That's what I always say. You always follow the money. Yeah.
This is Follow the Money with Mitch Moss and Pauly Howard on VSiN.
Here we go. It is Follow the Money on VSiN, the sports betting network. Mitch Moss, Pauly Howard with you live downtown Las Vegas from the Circa Resort and Casino. A loaded program over the next 3 hours and 15 minutes. We'll run down the games for Super Wildcard Weekend in the NFL with former league MVP Rich Gannon. In an hour, Chuck Edel, who was dynamite this year in the Circa Friday Football Invitational. He won the contest going away. He's been on fire the entire year. He's on the program. We'll get best bets for him. Arash Markazi, who covers the LA sports scene on the mindset and where the Rams and Chargers players are at. And Mike Somich, VSiN host with best bets in studio to close up shop later on here on a Friday afternoon in Las Vegas. And the winner of tonight's Cotton Bowl will meet Notre Dame, Pauly, after last night's exhilarating Orange Bowl. And you have some look-ahead numbers here as Ohio State, again, sight unseen before the game tonight, 8.5 in the national title game against Notre Dame. Texas would be 2.5 or 3. And again, if Ohio State goes out and plays like they did in the two previous playoff games tonight against Texas, that number, I think, goes up. If Texas keeps it close and Ohio State wins in a squeaker, 8.5 might go down. Last night was awesome. Will we get a repeat of that tonight?
I don't know, but that's hard to top. 3 ties, 3 lead changes, 31 fourth-quarter points, vicious beat on the total, 10-10 in the fourth quarter. I didn't think Notre Dame had that in them. It was great what they were doing at the passing attack, and to rally like that. You get all those attempts and carries with Leonard, but can't go over. Love, you middled that if you were early to the party on his rushing yards under.
Also, one of, no joke, that effort on the touchdown run is as good as you're going to see from 2-3 yards out.
Yep. But it's like Freeman said after the game, they're savages, and nothing phases them. So they've covered 11 in a row, won 11 in a row. So and the special teams issues and the kicking issues and fitting that Jeter wins it and how good he was against Georgia and how he makes the money kick as well. Bizarre move by Franklin. We got 2-3 guys back there. Drop. What are you doing?
I know.
Why don't you block the kick?
So I have specifically avoided everything today. I've listened to nothing. I've watched nothing. I can only imagine that James Franklin has been getting eviscerated. Have you noticed that? I don't think that was his fault last night overall, though.
Well, it's still 1-15 against top 5
I understand
teams,
that.
but that's also you're in position to win. But it goes back to right off the bat the announcer jinx. McElroy, I trust Aller. You have to be aggressive. Bam, bad throw, horrible decision, great play.
I thought that was the right move because they picked up. They tried to run the football there on the first down play, and they picked up 13. Now they're in business. Yeah, and you got to see if you can go down and score and win the game.
Yeah, he made a horrible decision and a bad throw. I know, I'm with you.
And I would say if anybody, and I know that I saw this on social media earlier the week, hey, the draft stock is really rising right now for quarterback Drew Aller. If you think that, if you're a scout or a draft, go do something else with your career. I'm not going to say he has no chance because he could end up somewhere like in San Francisco and be with Kyle Shanahan and a great roster. I don't want to hear how scouts love him or teams love him or he's going to be a good NFL pro. It's not happening.
No, he got bailed out twice.
He was horrific again last night.
Yep, the first interception in the end zone was atrocious, although that was the right call. It was holding. I didn't like the second call.
Neither did I.
Warren can't make a play on that ball anyways, and it's significantly underthrown. But he got bailed out there, too. So, yes, I'm with you. Great job by the Irish. And I don't understand how about McElroy at the end? You don't want to score here. You take a knee and you kick. There's 20 seconds left. An all-time blunder by a broadcaster. McDonough just might have been what is this guy talking about?
It's unfortunate because McDonough is almost on the Mount Rushmore.
Right. Well, what's McElroy talking about? Yeah. There's 25 seconds left, Greg. If you don't want to trust a kicker anyways. If you have a chance to house it, sure. I'm going to take my chance that they're not going to go 80 yards in 15 seconds, right. Greg. My God.
Did last night, and I have to credit Riley Leonard. Uh-huh. Now, I will say that the Penn State secondary, though, also at the same time, they were not great last night in certain spots. But Riley Leonard played out of his mind after, by the way, it looked like he could have been concussed. And I will credit the backup for coming in and looking like he did.
That was huge.
He had gigantic out of him.
Yeah, coming in, slinging it, completing passes, got points on the board, sure.
Sure. So Notre Dame now, after looking like they did offensively the first 2 games, and again, you take out that 98-yard run against Indiana, they haven't done much. And the thing about Penn State is that team has a ton of talent. That Abdul Carter on the D-line, top 5, top 10 pick, awesome. As I've said now for a month straight, their running backs can carry them to, as far as the team can possibly go. They were outstanding last night. Warren, the tight end, absolute first-round pick. So they have a ton of talent. Just the quarterback is god-awful. The coach isn't any good. And Notre Dame, on the flip side, they were really, really, like, all things considered, pretty damn fantastic last night in the game.
Well, they're well coached, and they thought the world
Freeman's
was
awesome.
Yeah,
Yep.
They thought the world was coming to an end when Kelly left, and it was an upgrade how it turned out to be. And they love the guy, and they play hard for him. So also a war of attrition. You asked the question: if Ohio State wins, impressive, but can they get out without any injuries? Then I think it becomes the Ohio State Invitational. Just because Notre Dame's still banged up, and you're going against a freight train. $1.45 here at Circa to win the title. And outscored their opponents the last 2 games by 45 points and outgained them by 440 yards.
Yeah.
Texas could not run the ball against Georgia or Arizona State. That's a disaster. I think their defensive numbers are fugazi based on their schedule. So the way this team, number 1 EPA per play, number 1 in EPA per play allowed, and the number 1 scoring defense. If you can't slow down Arizona State and you can't get much going offensively, in like on the ground against Georgia, I don't think this is going to go well for Texas. And I understand why it's so much. It was over 90% at DraftKings with the handle, but why the public's on Ohio State laying 6.
Well, by the way, Pauly, a couple of books have moved to 6.5 now. FanDuel is at 6.5 minus 104 on Ohio State. Globally, there is another book, at least 1 or 2 books out there with 6.5 as well. You brought up the running game. That's my biggest concern tonight for Texas. We had Paul Stone on the show yesterday. He had a great point about betting running backs under their player props for Texas. Here's the deal. When you go back again and look, and I started this with the regular season game against Georgia. In that game, because Georgia up front, obviously very talented. Who are they playing tonight? Ohio State up front, very good. In the regular season game, they ran for 29 yards. Texas did, 1.1 yards per carry. After that, it got better for more than a month. Not much better, but it got better against Vandy. 104 yards, 3.1 yards per carry. Against Florida, mauled them on the ground. 210 yards. Arkansas, $139. Kentucky, 251. Texas A&M, they ran for 243. When they played Georgia in the SEC title game, what happened again? They ran for 31 yards, 1.1 yards per carry again for the second straight game against that team. Then it got much better. They almost ran for 300 against Clemson, 6.1 yards per carry. But against Arizona State, that number plummeted to 53 at 1.8 yards per carry. And Oregon, and I'd like to sit here and tell you that Oregon, because they dropped so far behind so quickly in that Rose Bowl matchup, that they just abandoned the run, but they didn't. Dan Lanning, for whatever reason, kept running. I was losing my mind on the air.
Yep.
They had negative 23 yards running in that game. They averaged 175 plus a game before the Rose Bowl. Tennessee had a $152. That's actually pretty good, but they threw for 104 that game. Michigan ran for 172 in that big upset. They threw for 62 yards. So I don't think Texas is going to be able to do both things really well tonight.
Yeah, they were all over Gabriel, and they couldn't establish the run. It was ugly. You just talked about it. Klubnik, what is he, average? Okay.
He's
above
decent.
average? Okay,
Yeah.
He lit him up. They couldn't stop him. Levitt lit him up. Couldn't stop him.
Yeah.
So now here comes Howard and Smith and all these weapons that they have and the highest power-rated team in the nation. So if you can't stop these guys, it's not going to go well tonight the way they're playing and how they've been dominating Tennessee and what they did against Oregon. So, But then again, mistakes can happen. You can come out, be sloppy, beat yourself, and can you bring your A game every single week? The comparisons, you said it, Power said it. This could be UConn, who went 12-0 straight up in ATS 2 years in the tournament. Maybe Ohio State has it in them. But if that Texas team shows up that we've seen the last couple playoff games, it's going to get ugly.
Yeah, this is from Lance on X. You can tweet us at VSiN Live, at Mitch Moss Radio, at Pauly Howard. Everyone was disrespecting Ohio State. Then they rolled Tennessee. Revenge game, they rolled Oregon. Now they are being crowned as national champs. They will lose that edge, and Texas will play and win it all. Take the points and some money line.
Won't do it. But I don't trust Sark either. I don't trust Sark in big games.
Right.
Can't get there. Out-coached against Washington and DeBoer. Horrible job when he was the OC at Atlanta. Couldn't get the ball to Julio Jones. They called him 7-win Sark at Washington. Had his issues at USC. I don't want any part of Sark in a big game. Outcoached by Dillingham. Could have lost to Clemson at home. Don't like it.
Do you trust Quinn Ewers if he has to go out there and make several plays tonight?
I know. He's like $2 to throw an interception.
Because, again, I don't think, based on everything we just ran down, I don't think Texas is running the ball effectively in this game tonight. Then it's going to come down to him.
Well, the wide receivers are good, but yeah, he's got to be perfect. I don't know if he can do that. Big news, we're back, Sirius XM, January 17th. VSiN's 24/7 programming will be available Sirius XM, channel 158, in the Sirius XM app. And we'll produce a new show for Sirius XM by Maher and Sweetelson. VSiN Live, Mad Dog Sports Radio, every weeknight, 7 to 10 Eastern, Sirius channel 82. January 17th, VSiN channel 158. We're throwing a lot at you there. The important thing to remember, channel 158, January 17th, Sirius XM.
A week from today, you can listen to the entire network there. Okay, so a lot of us here on the network lost the under last night in that game, by the way.
Ridiculous.
You know, sometimes games can take on a life of their own, and that's exactly what happened last night. Like, nothing happened in the first half, as we were hoping for and kind of expected. That totally flipped, and then you got big drives after big drives or big play after big play in the second half.
And you couldn't get a red zone stop either.
No, turned into a total shootout.
Yep, to put the field goals over and also to help you out with the under. Just touchdown, touchdown, touchdown. 31 fourth quarter points. Oh, my God.
Yeah.
10-10 in the fourth quarter.
Former NFL MVP Rich Gannon makes his weekly appearance with us coming up next. What is he strong on this weekend? We'll ask him on Follow the Money. It's VSiN, the Sports Betting Network.
Time. There's nothing more valuable. It's what drives everyone to make the most of every moment. We celebrate living large in the now. In a city where time disappears, we create experiences that electrify the soul and memories that will last forever. We go big. We go all night. And here, everyone is invited. So get loose and get loud.
This is Circa. You'll have the time of your life.
Join us on a numbers game where Gil Alexander takes you on an informative and entertaining ride, focusing on the numbers that fuel today's bettors.
The Pittsburgh defense is amazing. I'm not doubting that. You think it's impressive, but you don't get how impressive it is. Okay, Mr. Football, we get it. In the end, there's Mahomes, just waiting, laughing at your little rankings.
He sets the table as the money comes in each day, helping you become a sharper bettor. Catch a numbers game weekdays at 10 a.m. Eastern, only on VSiN, the Sports Betting Network.
So, Pauly, have you had a chance to read the VSiN Daily yet?
Yeah, came in at 3 a.m. What's Bill doing up that late?
Well, rumor has it, it starts off with a 12-hour meditation session.
Then he just pours himself over film and live TV, really focusing and taking it all in. Bill's in with the biggest insiders, talking trade secrets, strategies, the whole nine, absorbing the info.
And then and only then can the writing process begin.
In Las Vegas, Bill's Late Night becomes your early morning. Wake up to the very latest betting insights in your inbox with the VSiN Daily. Sign up for free at vsin.com/newsletter.
This is Follow the Money on VSiN.
It's good to have you on board today here on a Football Friday. We're live in downtown Las Vegas from the Circa Resort and Casino as we head out here to the Progressive Guest Line. Former league MVP Rich Gannon makes his weekly appearance here on the program now. Good afternoon, Rich. Thanks for the time today. How are you?
Mitch, Pauly, always great to be with you guys. I'm excited. We've gotten through the regular season. We are into the postseason, and there's a lot of excitement in the air surrounding the 7 teams in the AFC and the 7 in the NFC. And for the other 18 teams, it's time to clean up the lockers. And for some players, have surgeries, off-season surgeries, and head home and regroup. And for 6 teams, at least, we have major changes with the head coach and some general managers. So a lot going on, as you guys know, around the National Football League.
No doubt. And let's begin with the 2 teams in Los Angeles in the playoffs. The Rams playing now on Monday night in Arizona. And the first game kicks off tomorrow with Houston hosting the LA Chargers. Is there any possible way to speculate what these players, coaches, teams are going through and how they could possibly be handling the wildfires in Southern California?
You know, it's a great question. I did speak with Les Snead of the Los Angeles Rams on Monday, and they were still gathering information where their practice facility it is and where a lot of the players live. It wasn't really dramatically impacted, but they had to change their practice plans yesterday. They had to go inside. The air quality not very good. Obviously, the league has already moved that game. The Chargers in a similar situation. You have a lot of players in that area that live in different parts and the surrounding communities, transportation, all those types of families and friends who have been affected. So there's a lot going on. And as you get ready for a playoff game, playoff football, as you guys know, is very different. The speed, the pace, the tempo of the game, the meaning, the finality of it all in terms of, it's not like we lose today, we come back next week and still, we have everything we talked about accomplishing still right in front of us. You win and you advance, you lose, you go home. This is the uniqueness and I think the special part of postseason football. So the last thing you want as an organization, as you're trying to put together these game plans and prepare for what's going to be maybe the most difficult game of the season, the last thing you want are distractions and challenges. And I think both the teams in Los Angeles, the Chargers and the Rams, dealing with that this week.
Yeah. Okay. Then how about the game Saturday night following Chargers-Texans, Steelers-Ravens? Been hearing all week about Lamar Jackson's struggles in the postseason. And you flip it, these 2 rivals hate each other. Everybody involved does, seemingly. And Tomlin is great as an underdog. They beat him once earlier this year when they were an underdog. And the Ravens yet are 9.5-point favorites in this game. Do you think the Steelers keep this contest close?
I think they do, only when you consider the past history, right? Lamar Jackson just 2-4 in his starts versus the Pittsburgh Steelers. He's thrown more interceptions than touchdowns. But you do get the sense, guys, that these teams aren't on a level playing ground right now. The Ravens have won 4 straight. The Steelers have lost 4 straight. You look at this offense of the Ravens, number 1 in total offense, number 1 in rushing. It's not just Lamar Jackson, it's Derrick Henry. The Steelers are going to have to, get their big boy pads on and stop the run. If you go back and look at what Steve Spagnuolo and the Chiefs did to the Ravens last year, I think everybody wants to try and do that, right? Let's get a lead. Let's shut down the run or limit the explosive runs, and let's force Lamar Jackson to have to play on 3rd down. Let's make him 3rd and 5, 3rd and 6+ type situations. Let's make him function as a pocket passer. Let's keep him in the pocket. Let's force them to have to throw the ball north of 30 times. And I think that's the challenge if you're Pittsburgh. TJ Watt has to have a big night or a big day. And I also think that when you look at the Pittsburgh and how they're built, Russell Wilson has struggled. And I think when you look at the first 6 starts, they played well around them. Defense was creating negative plays, short field scoring opportunities. The kicker has been terrific all season. Of course, he was first team All-Pro. But they're running the ball with Harris and Warren, and the defense was doing their thing, solid in the kicking game. That's the only chance I think Pittsburgh has to win. If it gets into a high-scoring, kind of a shootout type of game, Russell Wilson is not going to win that battle with Lamar Jackson. They have to, for Pittsburgh to win, it has to be like the game that it has to be that 18-16, a 17-14, a 21-20 type of game. Pittsburgh can't go toe-to-toe with that Ravens offense.
I agree. Sunday, The two rookie quarterbacks open up on the road. What advice would you give to Nix and Daniels?
Take care of the football. I would say mistakes and turnovers are magnified in the postseason. If you think about what an interception or a fumble equates to in the regular season, whether it's 6.4 points or whatever that number is, well, I would tell you the number is even greater in the postseason. Well, why is that? Well, you're playing against better teams. You're playing against better coaches, better play callers, better quarterbacks, better defenses. Better offenses that know how to capitalize on another team's mistakes. So, you're going into if you're Bo Nix, you're going into the Buffalo. They haven't lost a game all year. But the other interesting stat is that they have the fewest amount of turnovers and the fewest amount of sacks this season. So, there's not a lot of negative plays. If I'm Denver and I'm Sean Payton, I'm saying we've got to do the same thing. We've got to have a clean pocket. We can't have negative plays and expect to beat the Buffalo Bills. In fact, we have to be able to create our own negative plays with our defense, who leads the National Football League in sacks. So that, to me, is the big challenge for Bo Nix. And I think for Jaden Daniels, guys, he's been in this situation before. Remember, he started his career down in Tampa, week 1. And I was impressed with what happened late in that game. And I think this is a different Commanders team. And I think the Bucs realize that. This is a much different Commanders team. They've won 5 straight games. And it's how they've won those games. You look at 4 of the last 5 wins have come in the last 10 seconds or in overtime. And this quarterback, Jaden Daniels, I'm just telling you guys, he's not your typical rookie quarterback. He doesn't look like one. He doesn't play like one. He doesn't act like one. And I think he'll create some real issues, I think, for that Bucs defense.
Okay, so you're not going to be shocked for 1 second if Daniels in Washington goes there and wins, obviously, the way it sounds. Would you be shocked the way the Packers have been playing, specifically at quarterback with Jordan Love, if they went to Philly and won that game?
I wouldn't be shocked because we saw it last year, right? We saw them go on the road against the red-hot Cowboys and put a thumping on them. I'm encouraged by what I've seen from Jordan Love. He hasn't thrown a pick in his last 7 games. He has to do that. If you're Philly and you've got a quarterback and a team that's lost 2 straight games in weeks 17 and 18, and you got a quarterback that's dealing with a banged up elbow, what do we got to do? We got to get to him early. We got to hit him. We got to take him to the ground. That's Philly's philosophy, right? But I think when you look at on the other side of it, I think the Eagles are so dependent on the running game. And it's not just Saquon Barkley, who rushed for over 2,000 yards. It's Jalen Hurts. He's a part of that. And I think if you're the Packers, if you can stay with this team and you can limit the explosive runs, and that's Saquon Barkley and Jalen Hurts. Like, keep the lid on the explosive runs, and again, force them to play on 3rd down. And you want to turn this into a passing game. I want to see Jalen Hurts throw the ball 35 times in this game. That's I think if you're Jeff Hafley, the defensive coordinator of the Packers, that's got to be your thought process. Let's not let Saquon Barkley carry the ball 30 times. That's not he had over. You think about his 2,000 rushing yards, guys. 1,245 of them came in the second half of games. They'll wear you down. If you allow them, you give them the opportunity to punch you in the mouth and to beat up your ribs like a big prize fight, they'll do it. They have a big physical offensive line that can lean on you in the second half of games. Don't give them that opportunity. Play with the lead and force Jalen Hurts to have to win this football game.
90 seconds. Once a Raider, always a Raider. You do the preseason games. What advice would you give to Mark Davis?
This is a critical decision. Think about this. The Jacksonville Jaguars and the Las Vegas Raiders have had 9 different head coaches, each of them 9 different head coaches since 2011. That's the most in the NFL. He's got to get this right. They've got to be able to change the culture and the environment. They fired the head coach. They fired the general manager. Tom Brady's intimately involved in these discussions and conversations. And they've got to bring in somebody, a pair. They've got to bring in a head coach and a general manager that see the game the same way and start to be rebuilt, which was once a very proud franchise.
Mm-hmm. Is Mike Vrabel that guy at head coach?
I think there's a fight right now for Mike Vrabel. I think Mark Davis and Tom Brady are trying to convince Mike Vrabel to come to Vegas, and I think Robert Kraft is doing the same thing in New England. Mike, if I was the agent for Mike Vrabel, guys, I'd be in a pretty good spot. I think in my opinion, he is the top coaching candidate out there. When you look at his experience, you look at his toughness, you look at his leadership skills. his game day management. I think he's a phenomenal football coach, and I think he would be a prize. He'd be a wonderful get for either organization.
Yeah, no doubt. Awesome as always, Rich. Thanks for the time. Enjoy the games this weekend.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you, sir.
There you go. Former NFL MVP Rich Gannon joined us here on the Progressive Guest Line.
Love looked good at practice, apparently, but it goes back to what Rich said in South Pal, too, about that elbow injury affecting the hand and the grip.
I see. Well, again, shop around. FanDuel still at 4.5 on the Eagles. Other spots have moved to 5.5 in the game. We will continue with the NFL coming up next and discuss how wild card teams have done in certain spots over recent years. For example, dogs are 64% over the past 26 games in this situation.
Sports betting game with VSiN's exclusive betting splits. Stay ahead with real-time market trends and track bet percentages on any matchup. Then uncover the edge by comparing them to the amount of bets placed to find out where the sharp money is headed. Upgrade to VSiN Pro to access betting splits, live odds, line moves, power ratings, and in-depth game analysis. Go to vsin.com/pro to join VSiN, the sports betting network.
This is VSiN, the sports betting network.
This is Follow the Money on VSiN.
Welcome back. In 15 minutes, Pauly's going to recap last night's action with win-lose. We'll get into a lot of props for the weekend. I just tweeted out the rundown here from Steve Makinen, who has great numbers at vsin.com. You can go there to the website, check it out, or the link I just tweeted is at Mitch Moss Radio on X. So historically, in this round, some numbers to consider. Maybe they mean something, maybe they mean absolutely nothing. The outright winner owns a point spread record of 63-10 with one push ATS in the last 74 wildcard games. That is 86.3%, Pauly. So, again, just pick the winner, right? That team's going to cover 86% of the time. Since the expansion of the wild card playoffs in 2021, the outright winner in games with lines of 7 points or more, only 6-4 ATS. And underdogs specifically in the last 26 NFC wildcard games are 17-8-1 ATS. That's 64%. So a lot there. Wild card road favorites. 20 since 2008. Those teams are 12-8 straight up, but only 8-11-1 ATS. That's wild card road favorites. So this year, you're looking at the Chargers laying 3 now at almost every single spot. And what do you want to consider the Vikings now? It's just a neutral road. Yeah. It's a neutral game, so it doesn't matter. It doesn't fit in there.
He brought his A game. He's got 3 articles up there. They're incredible about wild card weekend, too. So another one he has is when a team missed the playoffs, and that's a team that made the playoffs. They're only 36%, so that fits here as well. It's the 3rd straight road game for the Chargers, and the Texans essentially had a bye after they hardly played anybody against the dreadful Titans. Last playoff win, 2018, and we know what happened last year with Houston. They routed Baltimore on that Saturday game. Herbert's been great. I think the numbers are a little fugazi with the Houston defense, and I don't like how the Charger defense closed the season as well. Last 8 road starts for Herbert, 10 touchdowns, no interceptions. It starts with him. And it was that real last week with Johnston, because Houston's very good against number 1 wide receivers. So I take away or limit McConkey, then it's on Johnston or somebody else to beat me. But he went for 186. So we'll see if he can do something in their passing attack, and then can Houston get him in 3rd and long. A good note for their defense. Best in the league on 3rd down, quarterback completion percentage, and also QBR. So if they can get him in 3rd and long and limit Dobbs and take away McConkey, maybe they have a shot. But then the whole season has been about the regression of Stroud and how bad the offense has been. And when Stroud is going against a playoff team or a defense like this that's given up 18, 19, it's not gone well. It's been ugly. He's averaging 14 a game. Hideous.
Yeah. And here's the thing, too. You have to tip your cap to the organization in Houston because they have drafted pretty well in recent years, specifically in the secondary. Like, they have a ton of talent there. Cornerback, safety. They have really good players in the secondary. So I don't think this is going to be an easy game for Herbert in the air. You like his rushing yards over. I'm there as well with that. And you're exactly right. They focus on McConkey. You think they can take him away, hopefully anyway. The guy's a very good route runner, and he had a really solid rookie season anyway. But you look at the injury report, and like Josh Palmer missing practice, Quentin Johnson, like same thing, little ill. Like, are those guys going to be okay, 100% near there? So then it's going to come down to Herbert trusting the tight end again. He has a good rapport with the tight ends on the roster. And I guess specifically here, how much of the running attack will get it done for the Chargers against a team that's been kind of sneaky good against stopping ground games as well. I was going over Nico Collins' game log today. See, he's so inconsistent.
Yeah, starts with him. Can they make big plays with him? I know.
It's not, I shouldn't say that. It's because of Stroud's down year. And also, it doesn't help that Dell out, Diggs out.
Yep.
Home favorites of more than a touchdown, so 7.5 or higher in the wild card round, are 17-1 straight up and 14-4 ATS at 78% since 2005. Buffalo, 131-17 against Pittsburgh last year. Road teams have averaged only 15.1 points per game in these contests. Baltimore and Buffalo fit the criteria this week, and I've been talking about this since early Monday, that very popular moneyline parlay that pays more than even money, including Baltimore, Buffalo, and if you want to put Philadelphia on it, or if you want to take out Philadelphia, maybe put in Ohio State tonight. If you do all four, it's about 2-1 or a little bit higher than that.
Those numbers are incredible.
Aren't they?
Because if we get to 10 in the Buffalo game and the Baltimore game, too, that it's 14-1 ATS and 15 in a row straight up. That's crazy. The loser was Buffalo against Miami.
Right.
They were laying 15, and Skylar Thompson almost got them. So we'll see if those are going to be blowouts as well. Are you concerned about the 3 straight road games for the Chargers?
You have to be. That's always something to consider, right?
Yeah, there's so many things here we're throwing at you, and it cancel each other out. Ryan's is also 0-4 ATS on short rest, too. 7 of the 8 home games have gone under for Houston. And if you think the Chargers are a good team, and I do, the Stroud stuff sticks out, 14 points per game against these good teams and good defenses. But the Chargers themselves, 2-5 against playoff teams. The 2 wins were against Denver.
Yeah.
So they were close in some of these games. But then again, the Tampa game sticks out. How did that happen? And what happened in some of these other games? But I think Herbert can have a big game through the air. And he was excellent. He's been hot. What he did against the Raiders in the second half and how he's played down the stretch and in road games.
Okay, so you brought this up in Wheeler Fugazi earlier in the week, and that is just fading both LA teams because of what's going on with the devastating fires.
Yeah, well, the one thing that jumps out is the Bosa comments. Well, I hope when I go home, my house is there.
Well,
he's right.
That's how everybody has to be thinking if they haven't been. So I've talked about this with several people. Like here at Circa today, walking in, a couple of executives here, other people reaching out, phone calls, conversations. Like, how do you possibly handicap what they're going through? And we're talking about the coaches, the players, assistants, the organizations in general. It's essentially impossible to try to figure out where they're at. So I don't know how to factor it in. We don't know. I mean, how do you have, unless you happen to know somebody inside the organization that's the 4 players lost their homes.
Yeah, it's the ultimate distraction.
Right. I mean,
how does it not mess with you? Yeah.
The timing of this is as bad as anything that.
It's your own family. You got people back there. Sure.
Yeah.
My house okay? Well, is everyone else going to be okay?
Do you compare this to Katrina? Saints came out of that Monday night game after Katrina, and the Atlanta Falcons had 0 chance to win the game.
No. That was a year later. This is, I think, this is more.
I'm spitballing here, trying to figure. I don't even know what you can compare it to.
I would say maybe the Rams have a bigger distraction. Same thing. Now you're picking up, and now you're going. You got to play. You lose your home game. You couldn't play there, and then you got to play in Arizona.
So think about what they have to go through, right? Again, the air quality, changing the practice, all of that, and then they were thinking they're going to play at home. Oh, by the way, guys, not only are you going through this, now we're going to go on the road as well.
Yeah.
But also, think about this: the Chargers are traveling. They're playing tomorrow. Where are they at?
Yep. I think it's human nature that it's just going to be distraction, and maybe it goes sideways for them. The Minnesota angle, I mean, with the Rams, this is only the second time ever they moved a playoff game.
Yeah. So,
again, check your house rules about what's going to happen with the venue change. But I just think it has to be like when you see the Bosa comments about what's going on back in SoCal, that my head isn't right, and I'm rightfully so worried about what's going on at home with all these fires.
Yep. Some other tidbits here from Steve Makinen at VSiN.com. The Eagles are 19-3 under in January games since 2011. Home dogs are 8-2 ATS since 2016. That would make for Houston. Quarterback starting their first playoff game, Bo Nix, Jaden Daniels, 12-23 straight up. You could throw Sam Darnold in there as well. 14-21 ATS since 2014. As a dog, those quarterbacks are 9-26 straight up. 13-21-1 ATS. And when they're matched up against a quarterback not in their first playoff game, the aforementioned quarterbacks are 20-44 straight up, 22-41-1 ATS. I get it. A lot of numbers there to digest. Again, as I always recommend, go to VSiN.com. You can read it and bookmark it for yourself.
Looking for some action? Our friends at First Bet have you covered. Sign up today. Lock exclusive promotions. Watch and wager on hundreds of exciting horse races every day across the country and around the world. Sign up firstbet.com. Promo code VSiN200. Claim a 20% rebate for your first 60 days up to $200. Head to firstbet.com today.
If the weekend is close to what we had last night, though, for the second half of that game, well, then Super Wildcard Weekend is actually going to be better than expected. I can't get over how good that second half. It came out of nowhere.
Yeah.
I didn't even know if Riley Leonard was going to play in the second half. Who did? Marcus Freeman talked about that. He didn't know at halftime.
How does he stay under his yards prop? What do you have, 16 carries in the game?
Yeah, a couple of big sacks, so I think
couldn't get there?
Wiped away the yards.
Oh, brutal.
I know.
I'll answer my own question. If you're playing the third straight road game historically, you're 39% ATS, you're 29% in the playoffs. That's what the Chargers are facing too.
It's one of the things that you should circle actually when the schedules come out in like May. Who closes with 2 road games, and could potentially that could mean a third consecutive going in a row if they're going to be on the road obviously for that first playoff game. Fit that criteria. Paul's going to recap last night's betting action and win some, lose some up next, and we will hit on a ton of wild card props in the NFL here on Follow the Money. It's VSiN, the Sports Betting Network.
You spoke, we listened. Introducing the all-new VSiN Watch app. Now, you can watch and listen to VSiN expert analysis live wherever you are. Missed a show? No problem. Catch replays of VSiN's full lineup at any time. View highlights sorted by sport. Or use the search feature to find specific teams and topics you're looking for. And the best part? It's free for a limited time. Download the VSiN Watch app today. Available now on the App Store and Google Play. And join us on the Sports Betting Network. last night?
Wow, winning.
Or was it a rough one?
Well, they can't all be winners, can they?
Loser! You're a loser!
Pauly Howard recaps the night in sports betting in Win Some, Lose Some.
All right, Singleton first touchdown, 6-1. I did not see what 3 touchdowns paid. I imagine that was your big boy. Great House anytime touchdown, 8-1. Notre Dame to win between 1 and 6 points, plus 450. Chris Massero found this. Good one. First quarter under 3.5 points, plus 330. Big stop there on the final play. NBA, T-Wolves Magic under 206.5 to 199. Warriors plus 2.5 to minus 2.5 winner. The Suns from 3 up to 6.5. College hoops, Jacksonville State plus 240. Texas State plus 250. Tarleton State plus 250. And your big boy in overtime, Pacific, 16.5 point dog at Washington State. 11-1 on the money line. Ooh, it's a nice one. Subscribe, be part of the team, VSiN.com, our radio and podcast friends. You always want to see these tweets and videos at Pauly Does Vegas on Instagram. Thanks to everyone who sends these in every day.
Another one here.
Oh, boy. Another one with the doggy door.
Have you seen this yet? Now watch the guy on the right who gets stuck, and he can't figure it out, but he keeps trying to chomp at it. Like, come on. What are you doing in front of my face? Get out of here. I want to rip you off. He's trying to bite it off, and he can't figure it out.
Burmese, what are they called? A mountain dog? That Ben from Nova Scotia's got a dog like that. Those suckers get big, right? And here it is again where we got another issue with the doggy door and he's stuck. Yeah, right? Oh, that's awesome. Oh, good. Are we going back to back here with the hippo? Okay, this is great. This is the kind of dog I want. Everyone's got to help me out. I think it's kind of like an American Bully, similar. Anyways, the owner's having a conversation on the phone about his name's Hippo.
Okay. But how are we going to get there? We're going to have to do Hippo's least favorite thing, which is walkies? Do you think Hippo's going to want to go for a walkies?
Dog, not a fan of a walk. The only dog I've ever seen. Oh, look at him. Oh, no, I don't want to go for a walk. He jumps off the couch, right? That's the last thing I want to do. No walk for me. And he goes, look at him. He goes right. He's going to hide in his cage. And he's going to lock the door. I want no part of the walk. As the owner's talking on the phone about Hippo. Hippo would have to go outside and go for a walk. Look at the poor guy's face. I want no part of this. He goes from jumping on her lap to get me out of here. I'm freaked out and goes in his cage.
You're spot on. How many dogs don't like to go for a walk?
Yep.
And how many dogs voluntarily run over and into their cage?
Right. Now I want this kind of dog. Look at the mug on this guy. Help me out, everyone.
Is that a version of? It's got to be a version of a pit, yeah.
That or how about the next one? I think it's similar to America. Oh, you got the other one I sent in? All right, we'll do it tomorrow. Okay, look at this. Let's go to the Caribbean. Little vacation, right? Oh, this is my hotel room? Okay. Oh, this is, open the door? Ah, look at that view. Look at this.
Oh, man.
I got my own pool in the room. And then there's the best view you're ever going to see.
Is that St. Lucia?
Right? Oh, my God. Give me a break.
What does that room go for per night?
Good question,
Luke, you got to get on that.
It's innocuous coming in, right? Okay, no big deal. Not much to see here. Then they open the door. And the suite between the bed, and then you have your own pool on the side, and then you walk out, and that's your view. Oh, that's dynamite.
I go down a rabbit hole on Instagram occasionally, like places like in Italy or Greece. And after like 10 minutes, I just got to throw my phone down because it's like that. What?
There's a vacation.
Look at that.
Well, you're on the outside, yeah. And it's wide open. How beautiful the weather is and no problems.
Maybe we can do a show from there sometime for 2 weeks in a row.
Yeah. Lose some. Notre Dame, Penn State under 50 down to 45. Penn State +1 to -1. James Franklin, 1-15 straight up against top 5 teams at Penn State.
He sure is.
4-20 against top 10 teams. Got to win one of these, okay? Congrats, you beat SMU and Boise and benefited from 7 turnovers. Got to win one of these. Greg McElroy, what game were you watching, pal? Couldn't believe it. He was trending on social media. 25 seconds left if you're Notre Dame, don't score, fall down. What? You can't give Penn State time. Greg, you're gonna be 20 seconds then. I'll take my chances so they don't go 80 yards in 10 seconds. I couldn't believe him. He went on and on and on. Bad beats the under. 10-3 at halftime, 10-10 in the fourth quarter. Also, he had a shot with overtime, which was 11-1.
The amount of people who reached out to me on either Instagram or Twitter, X, And they were like, what do you think? Taking a shot or show me the screen grab? They took like an odds boost up to 15-1.
Oh, yeah?
Like, oh, that's a thing of beauty.
Got a shot? Well, yeah, pick 'em game,
You
sure.
thought, I mean,
had all the makings.
Once Penn State ripped off that 13-yard run, you're celebrating.
Yep.
Like, this is I have an unbelievable chance. And then Aller's like, no, hold on a second here. I'm going to make this hideous throw.
Yep. Getting ready for big game 59 with a big deal to match. Save $59 off the VSiN Pro annual subscription when you sign up using promo code FTM. Become a VSiN Pro annual subscriber and bet smarter all year long. Daily best bets help you cash more tickets. Betting splits from DraftKings and Circa, the dog videos, vsin.com/subscribe, promo code FTM. You're right. That's got to be a little. But if you Google image American Bully, and I'll
do it right now.
The picks, yeah, and then but I'm going to show some more on Monday about because they've been coming in nonstop. That's the kind of dog I want. That mug and all day long.
American Bully looks very. But
that was more Pitt. You're saying that was more Pitt?
Here's the first image of an American Bully. That's right there. That's a spitting image. Just
that's
different color.
Yeah, and then we got more.
The ears give it away, I think.
Yeah.
Can you handle that big of a dog on your own?
How big do you think he was?
That's
67.
This guy looks like he bench pressed 200 pounds. Play linebacker tonight for Ohio
built.
State.
They are built. How about him? Right on the couch. No walk for me. All right. How about all the props that we have? Look at all these props.
Hit me with some of these.
This is crazy.
Let's go.
I'll start Caesars and Will Hill.
All right.
Missed extra points for all 6 games total. 1.5 under -170.
Interesting.
Yeah.
It was the year of the kicker.
I know. I think we could. How about successful 2-point conversions? 1.5 over plus 145. We got a lot of firepower here, right? I played Octopus in the Eagle game, 16-1.
16.
All right.
Isn't that normally 11, 12 to 1?
Shutout 6-1. No, I know. Safety 3-1.
Okay, I could see something like that happening.
Will every team score a touchdown? $1.40. Circa's got will every team score 10 points? Some good ones there. And then DraftKings has obviously most rushing, most receiving, most passing. They have it for all 6 games, and they have it for Saturday, and they also have it for Sunday. How they've done that, too.
Oh, they split them up.
And then you can do the Triple Crown. You can bet who will lead all 3. And I think Darnold, Henry, and Jefferson pays like 60-1.
Oh.
You can bet.
And you can...
each guy to do that, too, and they have it all offered there as well.
Are those like the parlays that they already created for you, or can you go through and select which guys you want to parlay together?
They're created them.
Yeah.
But, Darnold's the favorite. Jefferson's like 7-1. Henry's right behind. Barkley's like plus 250 to have the most rushing yards. But that's good stuff, too.
Mm-hmm. Highest margin of victory this weekend, 20.5. Typically, we get at least one blowout. I've done this every year that we've been on the air.
Oh, that's
if you go back, usually in the wild card weekend, we have one game that gets completely out of control.
Yeah.
And if you can also find like the highest scoring team at all, and it's below, I'm seeing 41.5. If you can find below 40, history tells you that usually you're going to get at least one team to score 40 plus points. 41.5, 39.5, I'd consider.
Yeah.
So, how about a walk-off win? Plus 350.
Not bad.
Will we have one?
It's in play, sure.
Because we have multiple games that are lined like they're going to be close.
That's right.
Last night was close to a walk-off win. Will any non-quarterback throw a touchdown pass this weekend? Plus 350.
Ooh. You see Fat Guy? I haven't seen Fat Guy touchdown.
Well, that's kind of close, but...
Yeah.
How many... So the problem is, like, Detroit's not playing this weekend.
Yeah.
So you take Ben Johnson out of the mix, how he loves to maybe get those guys involved. So other coaches who have to get like super creative like that.
Well, the other thing is they have all these other props if you click on every game and then just scroll down, like on the combo players too.
Right.
Like Mayfield and Daniels to combine for 600 yards passing, 6-1.
Well, that could turn into a shootout.
Robinson and Irving to combine for 200 yards rushing, 6-1. Evans and McLaurin to have 200 yards receiving, 4-1. And they do stuff like this for every single game. Mixon and Dobbins, 200 yards combined, 6-1.
Okay.
Hurts and CJ, 600 yards passing, 5-1.
Well, you are the
There's
master
great stuff up there
of the no special teams or defensive touchdown.
Yeah, I was tinkering with it. If you do a 4-teamer, it pays 2-1.
If you do all 6, you can get 4-1 or maybe a little bit better.
Yeah.
We're not going to get 1?
Yeah, there'll be 1. That's a big ask to go 6-0. That's a big ask.
Yeah. But you're looking for 2 quarterbacks who don't turn the ball over. right?
Yep.
That's the number one thing that you look for.
High-scoring game. Take out the punt nonsense.
Right.
And then two teams that like to kick it through the end zone, too. So you don't take that element out as well.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. I'm all over the kicking stuff, too. Oh, God. How good are these kickers, right? Dicker, 1.5 over minus 140. How about Boswell, $1.10? How about Pittsburgh, longest made field goal plus money? Tama doesn't care. We'll trot him out from 58.
You will? Yeah.
Okay. I like McManus, too. Longest made. You can't trust Elliott.
No, you can't at all. Good point.
He made 55 in bad weather Sunday.
Up next, Chuck the Iceman Edel. He won Circa Football Invitational this year. Incredible overall record. Get his best bets for the weekend coming up.
And we're out.
Okay, give me 1 sec. I need to load funds into my gaming apps.